Well, gosh, what a few days. So I was talking with Spirit this morning, my guide team, which are all me, my higher self, and they're asking me to talk about a subject. And if you look at your higher self as the Russian doll, where you open it up and it gets smaller, 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 or it's smaller and gets bigger, 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 and in this case, it's smaller and gets bigger, bigger, bigger. And the smallest one, being moi, doesn't want to do the video because I'm just kind of fed up. I'm fed up with being parts of groups, whether it be Telegram, Signal, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Because these groups are being led by their leaders to voice an opinion about possibly what the leader is thinking. And most people want to side with the leader because they don't know how to think independently, or actually look into the information and think independently. Especially if it has to do with some things possibly someone else is doing wrong in their eyes. Now, I, for one, don't like to call out other people and how I may disagree with them, for the simple fact that it's not my journey. And if someone else decides that throwing shade on someone else, good, bad, or indifferent information, doesn't work for me. Now, I've kind of been this way all my life. You may have a group of friends and they start bad-mouthing each other, and I'll go quiet because, first off, I'm not joining in that cluckle farm. And secondly, if they're clucking about those people, then they're about to cluck upon me. And I just remove myself energetically if I cannot physically in situations like that. I also don't side with people because they're the most popular in the group either. Which has left me being on the loner side of many groups. And as much as I wanted to stay out of some of these subjects, I actually had my name get thrown in there. And a few days ago, I wanted to defend myself, and Spirit kept saying, "Put your texting finger away, Sandy. Put it away. It's not worth it. Don't open that can of worms. You don't need to defend anybody." And then yesterday, I went ahead and I did it. And I thought I was saying things minus some cuss words. But you got angry mobs in a lot of these groups, and they're just going to come back with this left-brain opinionated BS that feels a lot like a lynch mob. And I realized that I had to take full responsibility for my participation and just back away. Because I don't need to tell people in one of these groups that I speak to their leader all the time. We have a mutual professional and personal respect for each other. I don't need to tell any of these people that. Many of these people are just bots. They're just plain bots. They're scanning information like a bot, and they're responding in a way that's going to incite riots and opinions of judgment and come after you with some hellfire. And it's a risk you take when you open your mouth or you become a host of a group or a leader of something, or you're expressing yourself. I said to someone last week, as soon as you decide to put in your 2 cents, expect a fist in return. Because there are a lot of those who believe that when you speak out, and if it opposes anything that might be in their belief system, they have a deep need to challenge you. And one of the things my guide team has been teaching me a lot of in the past several years, since more and more social media has been spiking with this kind of behavior, they have been showing me on how to listen to information and not have judgments or opinions. That can I just listen to the information, good, bad, or indifferent, and not hold on to any of it? There are a lot of people out here that are channeling information that is semi-correct and semi-not so correct. People think whoever's got the most followers or the most talked about must be the ones that are correct. When I've said for several years, a lot of people's antenna has been distorted with information for weather and winds. So it's kind of like that party line where several people have the same phone number. And if you pick it up, you could hear several different conversations from several different homes in your area. If you're not familiar what a party line is, look it up. The biggest thing is being aware of the distraction and what is siphoning your energies and what is filling them with compassion and love. And before you open this pie hole and use these digits, ask, is what I'm about to say and put into words going to be helpful for me or for others? Or is it okay that I just know what information I'm getting and I don't need to spout out of my pie hole? Am I okay with just being with the information? And I'm about 90-something% good with that. And then my human gets in there, which is what it did yesterday. And then I found myself even ignoring my own inner guidance and having to override what my human was doing and go back into my inner guidance and not feel the need to break my texting fingers over ridiculousness. So yesterday and today, my guides are like, okay, it's Intuitive Tuesday. Here's your messages. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. So I have drugged my feet most of today. Just know that when others are pointing their finger at others, they really need to turn the finger around to themselves and give themselves the finger. That's right. Give yourself the finger. Look in the mirror and give yourself the finger. Point it right back at you where you're originating thought and expressions of that through your words, whether they're written or verbally expelled from your pile. And that those words and expressions have electricity to them, and they're met with magnification from all the other electricity out there, and then you have your magnetic feelings that bring it back in. So you have this loop that we're on. So I usually pride myself on not saying anything unless I really have something to say. I've learned over the years to become a better listener and less of a responder and a reactor. And it goes back to something that I said a year ago, that as we got to 2022 and towards the end of it, heat was going to rise. And there's going to be a lot of people who are not speaking the truth, and they will be found out. There will be mutiny, basically. A lot of conversations, a lot of lynch mobbing, a lot of bitch fests. You're just filling in the air holes. You're filling in the gaps. Everybody's known this is coming. Can you challenge yourself enough to sit back and just observe the information and know that much of the information you may have received in the past is fully validated in the now? So, a few weeks ago, I went into my Telegram and deleted 90%. I said, I don't need to listen to you. I don't need to listen to you. Now, I invited them, or I was invited, to all of everything that's on my phone and my computer. I give it permission, I give it an okay, or I either go in search of and allow it information to come. So I just wanted to just let those threads go. So energetically, they're not brought into my electronic devices, and energetically, they're not affecting my energetic etheric light body, who is recording everything. I talk about the 95% subconscious in your brain that records everything. Your soul records everything as your spirit is having the experiences, known and unknown. So when you're in a crowded room having a conversation with somebody, your light body is recording almost what everybody else is saying. You may not even be aware of it, and then something may come up at another time, in another space, and trigger you. And you have no idea where it came from. And that, my friends, is why it's so very important to rethink your thoughts before they are expelled into the air for others to pick up. And my first thing is do no harm. So sometimes it's best to just let it be. I don't say stuff it. If you're stuffing it, then it's a trigger for you, and you have to learn how to connect heart, throat, mind, all of it, so that your reactions become more softened, or the actions are of saving a life. And you become more interactive with responding with responses in kind. So we're getting heated up, folks. We're getting heated up. And if you are a leader or a host, or people look up to you, be even more careful of what you're putting out there. I don't know how else to put this to share. This is just what I'm being guided to say. And I hope that it can help bring awareness so that others that are listening to this can take responsibility and set their full intentions before spouting out into the airways where the waves hit everything and everybody. Every tree, every plant, every insect, everything, every person. You put it out there, it affects everything. And you hold the power to change a lot of that by thinking 2, 3, 4 times, changing that thought through sound, through breath, and think before you. Wow. We're all human, and we're going through some stuff. We have to work on our own triggers. And individually, we are a collective. And there's many of us out here who could use support from each other. I'm asking for your support in cleaning up the airways with your thoughts and your words and your expressions of those. And I, in turn, will work on mine as well. So much love and light because you are walking, living, loving light. And you hold the dial. Nobody else controls this dial. You set the intention with this dial. And if it gets moved, it's because you've allowed it to move one way or another. And let's all be better at being the best we can be in this today, now moment, moving forward, preparing for the next moment and the next day through the right here and the right now. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please leave me a message. I do read all of them. So much love.